Hello and welcome back to Loud and Proud Orlando here on a Monday night at 8 p.m. to talk loud and proud, to talk Orlando Pride with all of you. Drop your comments. We will read them out. Like us on social, share for us, let people know. I know this weekend is going to be a little bit depressing from what happened against our rivals in KC Current. Maybe today is not going to be the most exciting episode for us to talk about, but I'm sure you got lots of opinions. So we want to hear from you. What do you think's going on, and what do we think we should do against the Utah Royals? Today's agenda, Luis. We are going to be, of course, reviewing that KC Current game, and then we are going to be previewing the Utah Royals away this weekend with a lineup and score predictions as always. And as always, Luis, you are joined me here. How are you?
Well, I wanted to thank everybody for being here with us today. I appreciate you guys' support. Keep supporting us. We're growing. We're going close to 1,500 subs, so we're like really right there.
We're really
So
close to that mark. So
yeah, we're
please, if
getting
you're
really
not
close.
subscribed, go ahead and
Yeah,
subscribe right now.
appreciate also to Zambia Kuchalo Kuchalo. To all the people from Zambia as well. Um, you know, this is a team that definitely the result was not there, but to me, there's still a team that is going to contend. I'm going to second the words of Seb Hines that said, in this league, it's so much how you finish, so much how you start. We've seen teams bounce back, and I think this team is poised hopefully for a bounce back against Utah. Also we have to see the schedule for the current, the schedule for the wave. The wave are up 1 point ahead of us now. The current are, I think, 4 to 5 points ahead of us, 5 points ahead of us. So um, we definitely need to win this game. If not, the alarm is going to be ticking because we could drop all the way to sixth or seventh place. So the Orlando Pride, faced the Current at Inter&Co Stadium. It was almost 8,500 people that were there, so that is massive. So the people were there for sure. It's the first loss to the Current in the last four matchups across all competitions. So even though Orlando generated, I feel more, they're having some offensive struggles. And I think one of the big differences, and I don't know if John feels the same way, is that some of the players are definitely being figured out. Like Barbra Banda, it's one of them. And another one is some of the players that are coming off the bench are maybe not having the immediate impact they did had last year. And you know, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I felt that a little bit. I feel like there was a little bit of the offensive rhythm. It's been a little off. Um, you know, they had a lot of XG, but they couldn't convert. A lot of wastefulness, a lot of the extra passing, a lot of the passing it back. It seems, and those two anchors that were Hailey McCutcheon and Morgan Gatrot, I feel like also they're being figured out. Some of the strengths, a lot of people are studying the Pride. They want to see the Pride, not win. And they're figuring out certain key strengths, and then when Priska comes in the second half or Ali comes in the second half, there's some games that they become immediate protagonists in the attack, but there are other games that they really don't. And I think this was the case today. I don't know how you feel, John, regarding the Pride.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've been talking about for a few weeks. I think, we're just not scoring goals, and the attack is having issues. I think if you look at our goals scored record now, we are fifth in the league in goals scored with 15. Kansas City Current are first in the league with 19. So we're starting to fall behind, the likes of Washington, San Diego Wave, Portland in front of us. Goals conceded where, up in the top two. So we don't, in my opinion, really have a defensive issue. We have the moments where we have a lapse and we concede one goal. That's what happened against Washington. That's what happened against KC. And that just one moment where you get the other team score a goal, like let Chawinga score, that's going to punish you if your attack is not scoring any goals. Last year, we had games where we conceded one or two, but we were scoring three or four
Three
a
or
game.
four.
So it wasn't an issue. This year, the attack is just not clicking as well. It started off great against against Chicago, and it just sort of has been getting slower and slower and just hasn't been producing the same amount. And I think in this game, for me, a big part of that was I appreciate that Seb went for something different. I like the fact that we went for the three back against them. I think it worked well defensively. I think Carriabella did a great job at left center back. I think it did a good job of putting Oyane and Carson on the wings to actually play winger ball. But the problem was the center of the park, especially in the attacking mid roles, like Marta, Angelina, they were both kind of playing right behind Barbara as like a attacking trident. And I just didn't feel like they were close enough to Barbara. Once again, they're kind of left behind the play, or they just weren't really getting on the ball enough and making those intricate passes, being able to build up and move the ball around and get through the low block that the Kansas City couldn't put against us, Luis. And that's become a trend. Everybody just wants to low block us, and we have to have enough quality on the ball to be able to break the team down and then score a goal. And I just feel like right now we can have the possession, but that doesn't matter if you're just possessing the ball without creating quality enough chances and also finishing quality chances, actually having that final shot or that final moment where we put the ball in the back of the net. And that's hurting us. We're not scoring. We're letting up a chance a game or two chances a game, and the other team's scoring. That's how you're going to lose. But it could all turn around if we just fix the attack and get Barbra Banda firing. We need the rest of the team to start scoring goals. As much as I love Marta, I really feel like she is hitting a point right now where she's not being that effectual. And I think Angelina, too, is just really ineffectual at the moment. And I think we're lacking some star quality. We're lacking some real attacking flair that we just, other people will say, oh, we need Adriana. Like she's the only one on our team that could do that. No, we have plenty of
Mm-mm.
attackers that have attacking flair. They're just not showing it right now. And we need Summer or Julie or anybody really. It doesn't matter, but someone get on the ball in the box, show some quality, and put the ball in the back of the net when it counts the most. And I think at the moment we're just not able to do that. And once we are, I think we'll be fine.
Look, I don't like to point fingers. That's not what I'm here for. I have met respect for every single player in this roster. They gave the city of Orlando a tremendous season last year, historic season. But I think we need to stick to the basics. I think this five back. Um, I understand.
I like
Again,
the five back, but I want to play it with two strikers, not
yeah,
two
but
attacking
yeah,
mids, you know?
yeah, but the problem was, to me at least, Ohaini and Pickett inadvertently turned over the ball, and that made McCutcheon and Gatrat work double
Yeah, I can see
with
that. Yeah. They were
the
covering
already
back.
the already the mid that they had to face, which it was Debinha,
Yeah.
and they had a
I
really good
mean,
game,
you also have to say
and then
that
also
Kansas City had so many attacking threats. Like it's very
r-
difficult to deal with
right,
all of that.
and then Sam Zanabello forced them to kind of do that, you know, back roll, not so much center back, but do more of a back roll, and then Ohane and Pickett will take their time to come back, and then also, so the pressure that Kansas created as well, especially on the counter with Temwa Chawinga. I feel like Orlando should have kept this like they did last year. I think Corey Dyke, Abello as a left back, Sam's, like keep it simple. And Angelina and Marta as well. I felt like they were kind of outdoing each other. Marta tried to generate a lot of the plays, couldn't connect. None of them could connect with Banda. Also because Kansas City defense was very good, and they also play. But maybe this was a lineup that should have had Ali from the beginning, and Corey from the beginning. And I know, what, sometimes you feel pressure, not to bench your new signing player, but these are the games that we need to see that core team that gave so much success to the Pride last year. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand why Seb went for the five back, and I did think it worked in some ways. Like we did neutralize them. Like it was really only that one chance, and I do understand what you're saying about the wing backs leaving us exposed. I just think in the midfield we just didn't really. I don't think we found flow in the midfield. I don't think we were able to really, move the ball around fast enough, in my opinion. And I still think like there's that disconnect with Banda up top and Marta and Angelina just not being able to connect with each other in and around the box. And I feel a lot of the time we were just going for the wingers, like the wing backs were coming up, Luis, and we were putting in crosses. And is it Lorena for them? It was just the goalkeeper was just picking everything up. Like it didn't. And then corners, the same thing. We just kind of kept repeating the same actions, and it wasn't really changing. Now, like there was a lot of good chances, and another day one of those goes in. But I feel like this is starting to be a trend that we've seen. Obviously, in the last 5 games, 4 of them we haven't won. 3 of them have been losses, and we haven't scored in I think 3 of them as well. So the attack is really not functioning as it should right now, and that's what we really got to figure out why that is and how to fix it, how to get Barbara enough help around her so that we can start scoring goals again.
Also, you had here for Kansas City a 4-3-3. Great game by Mace. Great game by Davina. And another thing, as a silent killer was Sanarado. What Sanarado was
Yeah,
doing is she was dropping back and using her body to truly um, put pressure on
yeah.
McCutcheon and to go trot,
I mean, she
forcing them
smacked McCutcheon a couple times.
right. Yeah,
I feel like the
forcing
refs
them
should have done more.
right. She was forcing the turnover, and then who did she will pass it to? Temwa Chawinga, and so that was what they were doing, and they were successful at it, and the Pride had that one lapse moment, but I believe that the Pride also deserved a little more because they generated a lot of chances,
Yeah,
and
they did.
they generated a lot of chances that they did not convert, and I think that's the
Yeah.
main difference between last year, John.
Yeah, I mean, last year these tight games went our way. Like that's what was like. I think everybody realizes that. Like last year, like the game against Washington, we won. The game against KC, we won. This year, those tight games against the top teams, we're losing. But on top of that, we are losing to other teams that are getting better. Like Portland are definitely up in the mix. Right, the league is getting stronger. So there's not just a few teams at the very top that are on our same level. We're not at the same level we were last year, and more teams around us are upping their level. But like Seb said in the post game interview, like we just then need to find our next level, right? We need to find how to take it up a notch for us in this season. And I don't think there's any problem with having a bit of adversity right now. Like last year was really a
Yeah,
one-off season. You never see that where your team just
right.
continuously wins and wins and wins and wins, right? So we did face some adversity last year, right at the end, where we went on that little losing streak before the playoffs, and then the playoffs started, and we looked like a brand new team again. So I think we're gonna figure it out. But this is our bump in the road in the season. This is our blip, and we'll right the ship, and then from there, I think it'll be fine again. But we do need to figure out how to score goals again.
Also, we need to move compactly forward. Like for example, look how uncomfortable Abello looks like on the left. Like look at that right
I
here.
think it's just too spread
Look
out.
here.
It's too wide over.
She's not only too wide, but she's too static, and she stops herself because she wants to pass it to Pickett. And like usually you'll see last year Abello making those runs on the flank, and you see how Pickett is waiting for the ball. Pickett's waiting for the ball. They say, pass me the ball, you know, and I feel like, that it's the five back situation that I'm telling you, right now it doesn't seem like it, but like, you know, that's that. And now
But
this is
what's
another
the five
thing,
back just because
right?
KC have so many attackers? Like I don't know if we're gonna do the five back all the
Right.
time.
This is another thing that, to me, again, it happened last year also. The little bit of the lack of judgment. Banda goes forward, drives in, shoots, and then she recoups the ball. And look at Angelina.
That's what I mean, man. There's like an ocean, like, and all that time, no one's got in the box.
Yeah,
Like, no one's got to the point where they can get the ball.
look at McCutcheon right there. She could shoot from distance. She's done it already.
There's
And
just an
and
ocean
again,
between our front
Banda,
line and our midfield.
right? Banda goes for the shot, and I understand she wants to score, but I guarantee you, she would have gotten an assist. People would have clapped her either way. You know what I mean? And I think it goes to that. Like, she was never going to beat Cook with that turnaround.
Like, Banda needs to make that pass for sure. But I'm also like, why does it take us so long to get to Banda? And I think that's why she's thinking in her head too much. Like, I got to do it all on my own because she goes and like we're all jogging up. Like we need to be sprinting up the field to like when Banda goes up the field, the objective needs to be I got to keep up with Barbara because the play is going. The play is going that way. So
You're
if
right.
you're just jogging like,
You're right.
hey, get there in a minute, and
Yeah,
that's
look
why
at
Barbara,
Angelina Juka Haley. Yeah, you're completely right.
that's
Yeah,
why
you're completely
I think
right.
that Barbara's now mentally trained herself like they're not going to be there when I turn around. Like and maybe that's her, maybe that's them, I don't know, but it's too often I see her just on an island, like she's just gone, which is great because she can do it, but now that they two or three players follow her and they just block her and stop her. Last year she would have figured out a way around them, got in. This year they're putting too many players on her, honestly. Like it's you'd have to ask like incredible level trickery to get around three players in their box, right? So at that point, then she's just trying to find angles to shoot, but she needs to get her head up and have support runners that she then just lays it off to. And it's an easy pass back to Angelina, bang, top corner. Marta, here you go, bang, top corner. Like it is that simple, honestly. But
You see?
we also need to get the winger support near, like not just the attacking mids. Like we need to have, if whatever formation we're playing, the players in the attacking roles need to get closer to Barbara and support her on those runs.
Yeah, not only that, like look at that, like for example, like uh look at this turnover right here. That's Sohaina right there. Turnover. Even Angelina is like, hey, what's going on? Raises her arms up. And then Kansas recoups the ball and they have control, and again, the Pride retreats, but they're too compact.
I think
Like,
it's too yeah. Like it's sometimes I was like, why are we not pressing them? Like
right.
I think the low block at times was too low,
Yeah. And so to me, it's like that, uh,
and I
the
think that
chance.
was the thing. For me, I couldn't tell. Like, are we trying to keep like reduce the space? But then like our back line was so far back, and Barbara was so far forward. Our whole team was too stretched. I feel like we were
Yeah.
not compact enough.
Yeah, and then Davina versus Ohaine, and then you have everybody, going, right there for the high press, right? But then Kansas City had control of the situation the whole time around, just passing the ball. And then again, the space that they're providing Kansas, to move around, chasing down. So to me, it was a first half that I felt they probably had a couple of chances that if they would have scored, it would have been a different story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, other teams are scoring first, and then we're chasing the game, and that's a real problem. We got to score first, dictate the game. They also know if they go low block and just frustrate us like that second half, that we're just not got the quality at the moment, like I said, to break them down and put the ball in the back of the net. And that was the tail of this one. Like, but it was a great finish by Chawinga and like a great ball, and it was just one mistake by Kylie, and that's it. And that's all it takes against a team like Kansas City. Let me sorry, Kansas City Current. Like it doesn't take much, right? So I think the thing is when it's tight margins and you can't score, you're always leaving yourself open to that one mistake just killing you.
We are 53 people live. Thank you for your support. If you're on X, make sure that you're retweeting the video. If you're on YouTube, make sure you comment, drop us a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. We'll respond to you. Let's read some comments. Says Josh Talk. Hopefully, Pride bounce back. Of all sad words, I have more opinions about Unwell FC calling Barstool Sports daddy. There you go. Elizabeth Eads Do says hello. We can score. This team can finish. They should have been cautioned. They missed the PK on Banda, and Seb's too passive. Well, it wasn't too passive last year. I think Seb. What do you feel about Seb's tactics in this game, John? I mean, I felt. I already gave my piece about the five back. I think he should have kept it simple like last year. You know, especially against KC. I don't know about you. What do you think about his tactics?
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with Seb's tactics. I think he's trying different things. I
Yeah,
think he's the players that last year he had that were performing really well are not performing as well. We've had a lot of injuries. There was turnover. The attack this year is different from last year, and we just have to figure out how to make it work. Last year, we sat in deep a lot of the time and just hit teams on the counter attack with Banda. And like he said in the post press conference, our team was built to be like a counter-attacking demon. Like we would hit you with
yeah,
Banda and Watt and Marta and whoever, like Julia on the counter, and just get you in open space. And if a team comes and they sit deep and they frustrate us, we then have to figure out how do we move the ball around, how to become that technical team to break them apart, put the ball in the net that way. So that's what we have to figure out. I think Seb is trying different things, different combinations of players to make it work. I I really believe that we should put Angelina back in the middle because I think this like wing role that she's been doing, even this game, she was like a kind of
yeah.
a
It was.
attacking midfield winger role, like because Marta and her were kind of left and right, even though they weren't full wingers. I think that doesn't work either. And I think as soon as he put her back in the center mid, every time he does that, she immediately gets her foot on the ball and starts playing. So I would like to see McCutcheon and Angelina again in those roles, getting their feet on the ball, really trying to make some good triangles of passing around the midfield with Marta, get some wingers that are actually going to support Barbara and get with her and run with her when she runs, right? Whether that's the ones we have in the roster at the moment or summer windows coming up, maybe we go out and look for another winger. I feel like our roster is very good and we don't need to do that. I just think it's about finding the right player. I think Oyane is really technical. I would love to see Oyane play just pure right wing and just say, don't worry, obviously defend from that position, but just be an attacking technical player that can get in the box, get your feet on the ball, try and dribble, make some crosses. I think we got an underrated player in that ability that we could use in a more attacking role. The other side, I don't mind with Carson and Carey as the two left wing / left wing backs kind of doing their thing there. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. That's not our job, Luis. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I mean,
I also don't think Seb is doing a bad job. I think we've just, like I said, we're having some trouble, and I believe though he will figure it out.
yeah. Not only that, but I mean, this was a really just a silly mistake by Kylie Nadaner, but she felt really bad. I mean, um, and you don't leave that much space to a player like Chawinga. I mean, she's going to capitalize on this. Whether you have the best defense in the NWSL, I mean, she's gonna score. I mean, to me, that was a given. Obviously, Kylie stays stunned, and that can definitely affect it. Sanarado obviously jumping and hugging. Um, you know, there's still look at that pass right there. There's still opportunities for the Pride to maintain themselves to be a top three in the NWSL. I think I think Seb's gonna have time to figure it out. Now, I'm just kind of. I feel like this is a team also that we don't want to go all out and say, "Oh, okay, we suck again." You know what I mean? We need to be really level headed to understand where we are right now as an organization, and I feel the Pride right now are one of the best teams in the NWSL still with this vast lump of results. And I think, you know, Banda is going to have to make sure that she's either practicing other ways so she can get unmarked, or figure out a way. I mean, that'll be Sep's way to see how they can get Banda open, or maybe ask Chawinga to maybe play a different role, at that point, and maybe be more poised for the attack. But typically, those type of situations that we see here, those were goals last season. You know, those were goals last season.
Yeah,
Those
like
chances that,
we just not got our finishing edge on at the
yeah,
moment. I think that's the thing, and we got to find
that's one
that.
of the men's. Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
that.
they're just going to do finishing training for like a few weeks. Honestly, sometimes it's what it needs. It's like let's just put in extra finishing sessions with everybody until we, Ali. I've heard Ali Watt talk about, hey, we just got to put in more finishing time. Like it's true. I think sometimes you're just off the, but I also think the build up isn't really helping either. You know what I mean? I think we are possessing the ball, we're getting up the field, but I don't always feel like we're creating quality chances. I think we're creating like we're just half chances a lot of the time. We often trying to shoot with players in front of us, crosses that are going to no one, crosses that we're, putting up too high in the box, poor delivery on set pieces. We just need more quality on the passing in the final third and the finishing in the final third. And those two things would make a massive difference. Like we saw at the end of the game before, beautiful ball by Angelina on the corner, great header by Chilufya, goal. Like literally, it's that final sequences are the things that we need to, we really just need to work on.
Yeah, but here, that's a massive save right there for Anna Morehouse.
Yeah, I mean, Anna
But
had a great
but
game.
but
Great game.
this right here, and again, I know maybe I'm too picky, and I'll read some comments in just a moment. But Briska Chilufya comes in, right, and Sonorado, and look, Priska runs. You know, why you stop? Try to get the ball back to the Viña. You are double the size of the Viña, man. Just use a little
Yeah.
bit of that. Just use a little bit of that to,
Well, I mean,
she's
the ref didn't help either. Like,
yeah,
as per usual.
but as a soccer player, like you just have that's a little edge. You know what I mean? Like make yourself make them feel you.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of
No,
weird,
I
but
mean, it was gritty. I feel like both
yeah.
teams were putting those tackles in.
She sees, she sees Kansas pass the ball. The ball passes in front of her. Look at this. She just lets them pass the ball. Like I would have like slide, like I try to get the ball, back. You know, I, that's that's one thing that to me we saw last year, you know, and we are not seeing this year. And again, this is something that Seb's gonna have to fix. But again, this is a very talented, as you can see, Chawinga. She gets injured right here, right there. I think she gets a knock, but look at Carrie right there, and look at Anna.
Carrie had a very good game at left
Carrie
side
had a great
center
game, yeah.
back. I mean, she can do everything. She's left back, center mid, left back, don't right, left wing, don't matter. She kills it. And I also think Anna, like we said, just made some great saves in this one, kept it from being more goals. It could have been two or three at different times. So I think she really showed like there was no mistakes from her in this one. I know we talked about the little minor errors or things that we don't like Anna doing. And in this one, she didn't put anything wrong and really had a great performance. It's a shame that we just couldn't perform well at the other end of the pitch.
And now, people are very worried about making this guy feel comfortable in our turf. I read a lot of stuff. Oh, the blue
They
man is
finally
here.
just put him on the broadcast. Like
No,
every
the
chance
teal
they get
man,
was the teal man on the
the teal
broadcast.
man, man, the teal man is here. The teal man. I don't care about the teal man. I'll make him feel uncomfortable. I'll make him not want to ever come back to Orlando. And that's not me being toxic. It's just that we have to respect the turf. Don't let this guy run amok in Orlando. You
There
know,
was KC fans in different sections of the stadium. I don't know what was happening over where he was, but I think there was I heard like a lot of noise over in that area of the stadium behind the KC bench. So if any of the people watching could sit over there could let us know what was going on. But I feel like there was some conversations perhaps being had between the KC fans and the Orlando Pride fans and the the bench of the KC Current and what was going on there. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to say this. I feel like it's all pretty civilized. Like there's no bad things happening here. No one's being soccer hooligans. But yeah, we definitely want to have a little bit of pride in our house and stuff. And I think also Casey, right? This guy kind of he's like a reminds me of an American football fan. I feel like you get a lot of Kansas City is a lot of your average American football fan, and this kind of guy looks a little bit like that. The way that he's painted himself head to toe, like he's their like mascot dude. So
who's our mascot?
I don't think we have a mascot dude. Yeah, maybe if you want to apply for that job, Luis, you could be
Maybe
the
the purple
purple
man,
man.
the purple man for sure.
What am I
Shin,
doing here? I should just go be the
Shin,
purple man every week.
Shinto0013 agreed. Not enough grid for multiple players. If we don't score next week against Utah, Heinz out. See, this is the thing. I disagree. I think
I don't know. Are you being cheeky shit though? You for
yeah,
real? Because
I
this
think he's
man
being
lifted the
cheeky.
double last year,
I
so
think I
I
think
hope
it's
you're being
cheeky right there.
cheeky, and we're not losing faith in Seb already. Like obviously, we're gonna talk about Utah in a little bit, but I don't think he's fireable this year, in my opinion. No matter what happens.
Teams needs a Doyle that will just go 110% the entire game. Look, yes, Julie Doll is an amazing player, but I do feel that this was just more not capitalizing on the chances. Pride had chances, but also their turnover rate was higher than usual. And that to me put pressure in McCutcheon and in Gotrat. You have to understand Gotrat, you know, also last year was coming off the bench, and we have more of an Angelina Haley deal going on there. Um, Gotrat was a starter, and you know they were also putting a lot of pressure there in the mid and a lot of numbers. And like I said, with Sanarado dropping, being part pretty much of that mid to recoup the ball, he made it difficult for them. But yeah, I would love for Julie Lowe to be back. We need a left wing for sure. We need a left wing. We need a better coaching in finishing. Well, they'll do that. I'm sure they'll get it together. Not have not gonna have a press with a senior citizen up top. Says not have a press with a senior citizen up top. Who would that be? Are they talking
Mark,
about Marta?
yeah, it's talking about Marta.
No, come on, man. Now Marta's a senior citizen. Come on. Unbelievable, man. We were like, you guys were
uh,
drinking the milk of, last year. You guys were like,
you're gonna depress Luis.
Marta, let me get a kiss. And now you guys are like flipping out, calling her an old person. Unbelievable,
Gotta
man.
respect the goat. I
You
don't
gotta,
want to hear bad.
you
You
gotta
know,
respect Marta,
as
man.
much as I don't think she's killing it this year,
Yeah.
I mad respect to
Mad
Marta.
respect for Marta.
Always,
She's the goat,
always.
man.
I do think it's something I've talked about before, though, is like who is taking over her responsibilities. And right now, it seems like we're trying to get her to play every minute of the season. She's 39 years old. I don't think that's a good idea. I always thought Angelina was gonna be the one. Like, why are we not playing Marta in the 10 for 60 minutes and then being like, okay, off you come, go on Angelina, take that role, right? Whether she starts on the field or not, Angelina then moves into that role and let her then run it and like do that for the whole season. And then next year, when maybe Marta's, she's got 2 years, but who knows, right?
She
Like,
needs to come off the
so we
bench.
we need to start training the fact that
She,
Marta's not going to be around all the time. And I said that like 2 years ago, and we're still here
it's
relying on Marta. And I love her, but like we need more. Who is the next 10? Who is the next centerpiece of our team? And I
well, I
need
mean,
the answer to that question.
we had Summer playing that role, and she did great last year.
Summer, I mean, in moments could do that.
We
Yeah,
had
no lies.
we had Angelina playing that role. She did great.
I
Now,
think she's the
I
top
do
candidate.
I do feel like exactly what you say. Slowly but surely, we need to start taking responsibility of Marta when it comes to the generating the attack, because she has a difficulty of treading back to defend. And this is a team again that was used to moving compactly, offensively and defensively. And now they're too spread out, or they do, like I said, experiments. But Marta, it's costing her a little bit now. She's to me the goat. She's a person that changed the women's game, and
No,
I have
she can turn it on in a
and
second.
and I
Don't get me
think
wrong.
maybe she can come off the bench and fresher legs. It's tremendous what she can do. So we'll go from there. It was a tough game to watch for me, says Salty H2O.
I've heard several people talk about, yeah. I mean, it was rough to watch in the stadium
It was
just because
1-0 too,
we
man.
were losing, and it was like, oh god, I don't think it was one of those games where I just didn't feel like we were gonna score. It really felt like
Yeah.
it was something about the way we were playing. It just, even at the end of the game, we were all getting really excited for those last corners, and I was just like, I just don't see it. I was hoping somehow it was just going to fall in the net. We needed a bit of luck. We needed something to go our way, and KC were really determined not to let that happen and get the points in our house. I'm sure. Don't forget the revenge. All of that plays into this. Like we've said so many times, everybody is out to get this team this year.
Of all sad words, the fact is that the KC fans of my Blue Sky feed are annoyed by him, and Amazon sponsored his trip combined to bother me. There you go.
I mean, that's
Oh,
the thing
okay.
is like I'm sure they did. They were like pay to send you out because you look good on the TV, bro. Like that's the kind of thing these channels
They
do.
should
But
sponsor us, man.
yeah,
LPO and Amazon Prime right before the shows.
there you
Let's
go. You
do
heard
it.
it here. You heard it here. But I know. I mean, look. You're always gonna have these guys. They're like symbols of whatever, right?
What?
So I think the KC fans were just annoyed by them in general. Like KC, just I'm very like I left the stadium on Friday being like, oh, I
Me
don't
too,
really care
man.
that we lost, but I care, like it bothers me that we lost in our house to KC. And yeah, and I said this before, I find it very hypocritical that Lola Bonta is just on attacking third like every week, but she's also playing in the league. I don't
Yeah,
understand how you can be a pundit and a player at the same time. I find that a contradictory action in my opinion.
yeah, me too. I think you're completely right. It's like
I feel
me,
like Casey think their S don't stink. You know what I mean?
right? It's
That's the
me.
vibe I get.
It's like me working for the Pride and having a podcast of the Pride. It's
Yeah, there's a conflict of
it's a
interest.
conflict of interest.
Uh,
And I think it needs to be. I mean, I think the rules are meant for everybody, but I guess for Levante it's a little different. Now, my understanding is that this is a rivalry, and for what I've seen online, people are trying to play civil. People were concerned to show that Orlando is a welcoming city, and that's great. We're really welcoming, warm people. But to me, I wanted to treat this as as a war, man. I know it sounds weird, but I wanted to see some some 1-2 jabs, into into Casey's ribs, a little rear naked choke, make him tap 1, 2, 3. And I think that edge that we saw last season, that never say die, and that I'm gonna win no matter what mentality, I think it needs to come back. And I think Utah is going to be a good segue for that, because obviously, I mean, again, I'm not trying to downplay Utah, but it is an opportunity for the Pride to bounce back,
Yeah.
for sure.
If you put on the screen what I've got up, Luis, the
Oh, sorry
just
about
our
that.
form, you're good. Just our form at the moment. Obviously, started out great. Chicago, win against Gotham, win against San Diego, win against Reign. That loss to the Spirit. Then we bounced back against Angel City. Loss to the Thorns, tie with KC, and then in a loss. Sorry, tie with Courage and a loss to KC. This was a rough patch right here. This was hard. Like this is, I think, no, don't underestimate how good San Diego and Portland Thorns are. Angel City are much better. The Reign have improved. Courage are good. This was a very difficult stretch right here. So yes, we did lose some games, but what's coming up next for us, I think, is, let's say, an opportunity, right? There's an
The Royals,
opportunity coming up. We've got Utah Royals away, like we'll talk about in a minute.
Evelina
Then
Dolgen,
we've got like a week off. Then we come back and we've got Houston at home, very winnable. Bay away, very winnable. Racing Louisville away, winnable. Utah Royals at home, winnable.
winnable,
Racing Louisville at home, winnable.
winnable.
Then finally we play Kansas City again,
We
all
need to
the
destroy
way
them.
in like mid-August. So we've got some time, and there's a
So
break
our
in there.
next, and
And there's a break in there, by the way,
yeah,
of all that time in the summer where we don't know what is it? The official line? Clubs are allowed to choose their own, activities. I don't know, but something's going to happen in the summer in between all this. So we're not
we
we're
should
not
play a
playing a
friendly.
top team in NWSL again until mid-August. So really now is the time to figure all this out, and you're totally right. Utah Royals is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to turn the tide, the momentum, and I have no doubt that Sap feels the same way. I'm 110% hopeful in this team. I still believe in this team. I believe that this team can definitely stay as a top 3 contender in the NWSL for sure, maybe top 2. A lot of quality. We just gotta we need to have that balance of how good the defense is, and how we have those pieces that perform each other really well. And like you see Shavoshi coming in, it's like Sam's, you know what I mean? Ohaine, great games here and there. Pickett as well, with the set pieces and the crosses and things like that. We need to see that, but now in the attacking third. No pun intended.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need
That's
to
the attacking third.
see,
The Lula Bonta show.
we need to see a real improvement and just that clinical edge for sure. But I also think we need to really get our attacking form back. So the way to do that is mix it up, figure out what works, and then let's have some repetition of that, right? Let's do something that works against the Royals, hopefully, and then replicate that against the next teams coming up. Really get some rhythm and some reps under our new attacking. I don't know whether it's going to be a new tactic or whether it's just doing the same thing but better. Whatever that is, we need to do. We've got a period here to figure that out and get it better and get some goals in the back of the net and build some confidence before we play KC again. And hopefully by then we've scored a lot of goals in that time and also get up the table, right? So, but if we don't figure out how to score, we're going to struggle against these teams, right? So we're looking at it now as an opportunity. It could not be if we don't figure out how to actually put the ball in the back of the net in these next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. This is time to get the purple paint for Lewis, says Shinta. There you go. I have plenty of Arctic Fox purple hair dye left if Lewis would like some. There you go. Maybe do that for
I'm
sure.
excited for that. Luis's
Then
debut is Purple Man.
then Amazon Prime will fly us for free for August, man. Go to we can go to Kansas for free, John. You have the pot out there.
I'm in. Let's go.
And then we could be like Lula Bonta, come here, special guest. Shinta, TBF. I don't know who's sorry, I'm John. What's TBF?
To be fair,
To be fair, to be fair, she doesn't really talk about Kansas City went on air. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like also this was a weird press conference, to my opinion. I really had no questions. Like I was
I mean, I
like
think it was one of those games where it was just like,
like
okay,
the
we
players
lost
didn't
to
want to talk.
KC. What do we want to talk about? Like,
Yeah, it would
I
have
mean,
been
as
cool.
praising Anna, great.
Yeah, Anna was great and all that, but I feel like I would have loved to have Kylie, for example, to come out and but she was not gonna do that. So
Yeah, I mean, what do you say, right? You just
yeah,
say
you just
we lost against the best team in the league right now.
um,
We got to figure some things out.
we
I think
just
Seb summed it up perfectly, and I think they're not hiding anything. They're being honest. They're saying like, look, it was never going to be as easy this year.
yeah.
We obviously have to do things better, and we're going to go away and work on that. And we'll see you
I just
next
asked
week.
the fandom not to become fans of the result too much. Just think about where this team has taken you and see the bigger picture here. And also some of the players, it could affect them also. I mean, people are different. Um, we need to not we need to trust the process, essentially.
I mean, we waited like what 10 years to get some
Yeah,
trophies for the Pride, right? I don't think you're going to wait another 10 years to get more trophies for the
exactly,
Pride. I think right
exactly.
now we still have a very good squad in this
Cool.
league, and I don't think we should underestimate that.
Yeah,
It's just not all working at the moment, but that doesn't mean the qualities that these players have is getting worse. Like they're underperforming, yes, but they don't suddenly forget how to play and put the ball in the back of the net. So I really do think that we're gonna still see this Pride team finish in the like top 4 or 5 places this year. I don't see it dropping below that. It's just going to be a bit of a more difficult challenge for us. I don't think it's going to be as smooth sailing as last year, and that's shown already.
for sure. Totally agree with that. Do we have anything else to add about the Royals?
The Royals on the stats. I just wanted to show like every stat we are better than
Yeah.
them. Goals scored, goals conceded, assists, attacking, we're blowing them out the water, passing, defending. They've got apparently more interceptions and tackles slightly than us a game. So, but that's probably because they're
There could be a little
defending.
bit more of a physical game
Probably
there.
because they're defending so much all the time, right? They are not in the best place. They are down in 13th, and if we look at their form on the season, really bad, honestly. I mean, I thought they might improve from last year. No, they are still one of the worst teams in the league. The only team they managed to beat is the Chicago Stars, and we know how bad they are. So, yeah, it hasn't been good from Utah Royals. They don't score a lot of goals. They can't defend well. Of course, they've got some threats. We'll kind of go through that team in a minute, but on paper, Louise, we are a far better side. And even though this is in their house, we should win this game for sure.
Now, this is a
Like, I hope we win this game for sure.
yeah. I have a feeling that we should. I mean, I'm gonna say this. A lot of people downplay this field, America First field, America First Stadium. It's a beautiful pitch. It's natural grass. It's the home of Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals. It's in Sandy, Utah. Beer is the highest is 2.1% alcohol. That's the bad part. But aside of that, uh, we got a lot of O'Douls there. But aside of that, it's a beautiful pitch, and when you have a beautiful natural grass pitch, soccer specific, it makes it. And I know I'm sound a little biased. It makes it 10 times of a difference when it comes to the game. And we have players that are crafty when it comes to the attack. Players that right now, yeah, we're struggling a little bit, but you give them a good pitch, and it's different than playing in turf. You know what I mean? This is going to be a really beautiful pitch, um, and it could be a game that it again we need to strike first, and
Yeah.
just keep it coming. Attack compactly and defend compactly. Back of four defenders. Like I don't want to see five defenders.
Uh,
I don't know. Keep
Luis
it
likes his
simple,
back
man.
four. He's like, we're too good to have a back five.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
I feel like obviously Ali Setnor,
Yeah,
everybody
for sure.
knows about her and what she can do. I think she's the
Mm.
main threat here. Tanaka is a good player. McGlynn in goal, who's been having a great season. Very good, bright U.S. women's national team prospect. So yeah, I don't really rate their team that much. Honestly, I'm struggling to find the quality that's in this team at the moment, and I think that was the same last year. So the 1v1s, we got to win those, Luis. We got to win our 50-50s. We need to show that we're better on the ball. We need to show our attacking, skill and ability to pass the ball around and move the ball up the pitch. And then when we do get in a good position to be clinical and finish those chances, because everybody else does that against the Utah Royals. So we also need to be able to do that against the Utah Royals. Not to degrade them too much, but we need to make sure that this is a game we don't lose. I would think a draw would feel disappointing to the fans as well.
110%.
So after the last game, we want a good response and 3 points from a place where everybody seems to go and get 3 points.
Yeah. So the current are playing Chicago Stars, and if Chicago,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some of that people saying like, "Oh, we're not going to be a top four team."
yeah, we are.
We're like, "Oh, we can't win anything." Like they're
Yeah,
going to run away with it.
yeah.
I think this year has shown like KC have dropped some points, Washington dropped points, we've dropped points. The big teams from last year are not the same. Other teams are getting stronger. The points are going to be more spread out. I think it's going to be more even.
Look,
And Seb said it himself, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
we have a huge chance because look, um, we do our due diligence, and Orlando beats Utah. They will get 19 points, and San Diego has to face North Carolina Courage. So that right there, it could certainly help us out to be in the second spot right there, just by doing our due diligence. Now, this is an opportunity. Again, the mid of Utah compared to our mid. And I'm talking about Summer Yates back. Talking about Angelina.
Yeah,
Talking
the
about Haley
midfield,
McCutcheon.
especially the D mids, I don't.
Like they're gonna generate a lot of attacking plays, and I feel like the only thing left for me not to say, okay, this is gonna be complete murder, is our lack of finishing. We need to fix that because they're gonna generate a lot of goals. If we can score maybe 3 or 4, it would be fantastic on that goal differential, which it will cement us to get closer to a top 2 in the NWSL, which it's okay. I mean, look, last season was magical, guys. I mean, it is gonna be
Yeah,
hard. I think even the most respected pundits in the NWSL said it. It's gonna be almost crazy to think that we could do that one more time. I mean, I have full faith we can win another double, but we'll see. I'm content with winning two championships in two separate years. I think it's fantastic.
I think they did obviously have this 3-3, like Shinta saying in the comments here, 3-3 against Washington last game. They did score three and they were up like 3-2 in something like the 36th minute, I think. And
Oh,
then uh Utah, so they're up 3-2 versus Washington, and then they were playing like the whole game, and then they right at the last second, Washington got the equalizer to tie it up 3-3. But I just think it shows that their defense is so they're leaking a lot of goals this year,
mhm.
honestly. So even when they are scoring a lot, they're not able to see a game out. And I think that we gotta capitalize on that, right? If there's a team that you want to play when you're not so hot in the attack, it's a team like Utah Royals that seem to allow a lot of goals.
It says Shinta, LM Orlando. Thank you so much. McGlynn had a stellar PK save against the Spirit. I was pumped up for her. Ellie Centaur is their biggest threat. SLC Stadium is beautiful. He used to live there. SLC Punk. I remember that movie, SLC Punk. Shinta0013. They put three on Washington last match. Although Washington defense has been horrible after a match against
Yeah.
them, LM Orlando, that was a fun game to watch. I believe Hatch perfect PK record was broken by the save by McLean. Yeah, for sure. McLean
I
needs to be
mean,
considered for the national team.
they did score three last game, but they've only scored seven all season. And they are second in most conceded. So they're
Oh
second
wow.
in they're bottom second in scored and bottom second in conceded. They've conceded 16 goals this year, which is only behind Chicago Stars. So really where they are in the table at the moment, way down here in 13th, is a very justified place for them. So we need to be able to go and we've struggled against teams that are up here, Luis. We've struggled against
Yep.
the likes of Portland and Washington. We are not, in my opinion, dropping so low that we should be struggling against the likes of the Utah Royals. We need to go there, show our quality, and put them to the sword.
For sure. 100% agree on that. Um, and we just need to have that little bit of. I know it sounds corny what I'm about to say, but we can just be we can just kill this team and just say, hey, we suck again. Like I don't want to hear that. It after it
Yeah.
was such a
Eh, I think that's a very negative
look.
mindset to go to this quickly after a few
Yeah,
losses. We're
yeah,
third in the table.
yeah. We're
I, I
we're
you
we're
know, I
good,
don't
man.
I don't think that's a rational
We're gonna bounce back. We're gonna bounce
conclusion.
back.
I think you can be emotional about one game for sure, but if you look at the big picture, we're still perfectly fine. And like I said before, and Seb said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like
Exactly.
as long as we're up here, we
As
might
long as
not
we're
win. We might not win
yeah.
the shield again, right? I agree with you there. But if you just your goal is to win the cup again, we're perfectly fine.
And I'll be honest with you. Last year, I will say as a fellow Central Floridian, and the way the Pride made us so proud, and made us feel for the sport. Like I was part of the U.S. Open Cup run also for Orlando City. It hit 10 times as hard, or harder, that win for the Pride. Winning the double is such a it gives such eyes to Orlando that people wouldn't imagine. It was such a historic season. Let's not throw our mojo away for just a couple of stumblebacks. We still have a really solid team, roster. I have a great coach, a coach that was highly regarded last season. And we they renegotiated his contract and all of that. So let's just keep pushing forward. And Utah's a good start. I think Utah's a good start, John.
I would say we do the lineup, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like we're not really sure what's gonna happen. Like we got our preferences. I think we've talked a lot about what we would
Yeah,
maybe do. So I think in this one, perhaps we just say let's see what changes come next. Maybe Julie Doyle's gonna be back. Maybe Summer's gonna start a game.
maybe summer's gonna
I think
start.
there's a lot of variables. I think the five back, like you said, probably won't be there because we're playing Utah Royals. I don't think we need a five back. So there's a lot of things that could change. I think this lineup we might see some players coming back, maybe some change in the formation. I don't know, but I'm not really feeling like we need to do the lineup for this one this week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty much almost the same lineup. I mean, I don't see a different.
It could be. It depends.
It
I
could
think the
be.
big question is, do we go out with the
Oh,
five back? If so, then
no, I don't think so. I think we're gonna go back
no.
to the fourth back. I think we're gonna
Yeah,
go
that's
back
what
to
I'm
the.
saying. We go back to the four back. I think for me, a big thing is where does
We're gonna
Angelina
see.
play, and that dictates things. Is she going to still be on the wing? Are you going to put her back in the D mid? I don't
I
know.
would. I would.
Does
I
Summer
think
feel
the
ready
way
to
it's
start?
maybe Seb decides to give Ohaine and Marta a rest and have Haley Angelina and then Summer at the 10.
It could happen.
It could happen.
We don't
I
know.
will.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I think I'm hoping to be surprised by something different, perhaps, or maybe something familiar from last year. I don't know. We'll see what Seb goes to, but we can do our score predictions.
For sure. Let's do our score predictions.
Alrighty. What have you got versus Utah?
Man, I didn't. I put a 4 win to the current. Well, we haven't won
You
nothing
did.
on
You
the
went
price
big for
tag.
that. I went for the draw, kind of like hopeful draw, and it was not to be.
I'm gonna go for a 3-0 Orlando win.
3-0
Orlando
dub
Pride win.
in their
And
house.
maybe see Bandemonium coming back.
I'm gonna go for a 2-1. I think Ali Setnor might get one. She's very good. She scares me sometimes. But yeah, I
Get
feel
in the
like
Pride.
I hope we get a couple goals. I'm not feeling our attack, and mostly we talked about that. So I don't know. I think this could still be, even though it's Utah, I think we're
Uh-huh.
just struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. So three could happen, but I think more likely two, and then maybe they get one. So that's where I end up with 2-1. But who knows? Who knows right now, Luis? But I think it's a win regardless. I hope it's a win regardless.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's gonna be a good win, hopefully, for the Pride. I definitely give all the good vibes and all the spirit bomb energy to the Orlando Pride for this game against Utah Royals, which is gonna be, I think, a comeback win, hopefully.
Yes, indeed. Alrighty. I wanted to say that we are going to be having a giveaway on our social media tomorrow. We're going to post a giveaway for 2 tickets to come watch the Orlando City game on Wednesday night. They play Nashville in the Open Cup. So if you want to come watch some men's soccer, check out our socials because we will have 2 pairs going to be given away for that game. So you'll be able to bring a friend. Some pretty good tickets down in section 33 in the lower bowl, Luis. So check out everybody tomorrow on social, on Loud and Proud Orlando, to see your chance to win tickets to that game. Also, if you have not done so, please go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are extremely close to our 1500K marker. So if you have not subscribed yet and you're watching this video, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and you're like, oh, I've never seen these guys on YouTube, just go over to YouTube. I know you have one. Go over to us and click subscribe anyway. It doesn't cost you anything. It'd really help us out. Drop a like on the video. Drop your comments. We want to know what you guys think. What would you do with this attack? What would you do defensively? Are you a hater of the five back like Louise? Do you want to see, all the
Back
Zambians up
hater.
front? Like this comment from Shinta here. I want to see a Zambian up front. Let's
No,
see. So drop your comments on social, X, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere but Loud and Proud of Lando. You can find us there.
before we go, who stopped Chawinga last year?
Corey Dyke.
Where was Corey
I
Dyke in that
agree with
game?
you, Luis. When they went on, I was like, I would like Corey Dyke there.
Yeah, look that he speaks Spanish. Look,
But also, I feel like Ayane is she's a very good player, so let's not
yeah,
put her
she's definitely
down.
a good player, but
But defensively, Corey might have the edge.
look, it takes time. I mean, this league is also tough. It takes time to get used to. I guarantee you, Ohine is going to be much like 3 times as better next season because she's going to have a full preseason with the team, and I think that's super important too as well. You wanted to share something right here?
Yes, indeed. So you can see on our socials we're at 1,490 something. So we're in
I could tell you the exact
we
number.
were within the 10,
We
10
are.
people
Ooh, look at this.
to get to.
1,495, John.
So we just need 5 of you. So if you're listening to this, and we don't really beg and plead you very often, so excuse me for a second, but please go ahead and drop us a like. We spend a lot of time and energy and all this for you guys. We don't get anything out of it. We just do it for the love of the team
We will
and
love
the
the
love of everything.
love the
So
pride.
if you could drop us a like, that would be much appreciated. We got some big things planned for later in the year. More stuff coming from Loud and Proud Orlando. We'll always be here on a Monday night to cover Orlando Pride. And I'm excited, Luis, to see what happens against Utah this weekend. And hopefully we can right the ship and get a W.
Yeah, for sure. I also want to say, I'm barely getting too ahead, but we'd love to see a goal from Priska Chilufya. Be honest with you,
Grace Chanda, I'd like to see
great.
that
I would
too.
love to see. I think there was a comment from Shinta. She wants to see the Zambian front.
Yeah, the Zambian Trident. Let's go.
I do want to see. There you go. But thank you
Alrighty.
guys for your support.
And on that note, we will say, Vamos, Pride.
Vamos, Pride. Have a good one, guys.
Week.